Hey guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. So in this video, we're discussing the recent announcement with Avon South Africa saying that they'll be opening 100 stores all across South Africa in the next 2 years. So in this video, I'm going to unpack what this means and what my view of the matter is. Let's get started. Hi guys, Lewa Mukubela here, welcome back. So on the 7th of May 2023, I came across an article on social media with Avon South Africa making an announcement basically that they will be launching a series of retail stores all across the country. I believe their goal is to launch about 100 of these stores over the next 2 years. And this article and this announcement was met, I guess, with divided reactions, right? It was met with divided reactions. On one hand, we have guys that are saying, this is a good move for them, and all that. But majority of the people, the other group, is saying that they are more worried about the guys that have been making a living, through reselling Avon products. For those who are not familiar with Avon, Avon has pretty much been, I think it has been in the country for about 60 years now. And predominantly their main model has been a distribution model where they have independent distributors. So Lebogang would register as a distributor, sell to my own customers, but buy at a certain price point from Avon, sell to my customers at another price point, obviously determined by Avon, and to control the selling price. And that's how a lot of people have made money. So I think they have about 100,000 distributors currently, if not more. So a lot of people are complaining and somewhat worried about if Avon is going to go the route of opening these retail stores, what happens to these independent distributors that have been making money through the reselling of Avon. So I looked at this and I thought to myself, maybe let me create a video to share my own view. So this, in no way is this a reflection of the business model, the strategy that Avon has undertook. I'm basing my reply and my remarks on the base of what I know, which is pretty much what everyone knows. You just literally go to Google and read all the articles and the information that has been shared. But my view is, from a business model perspective, I don't think it would be a great decision for Avon to cut the distribution model that they currently been running for the number of years they've been around. And I honestly don't think that the leadership of this business would make such a mistake. I think they will continue with that model, and the retail store is just an expansion. The retail store is an expansion of their business model. When we look at business models, right, for example, when we look at the business model canvas, I will put up the business model canvas here for you guys to see. But on the right hand side of the business model canvas, we have what we call customer segments. So essentially, when you put together your business model using the canvas, the first thing you start with is the customer segments. Not customer, but customer segments, meaning that you may have a holistic customer base, but each customer base would have segmented groups of people. So you may be selling makeup to women, for example. So that's your holistic base. But within that, you have women with dark complexion, light complexion. You have women with certain skin conditions and things like that. So even the way you cater your products, you would cater your products on the basis of each segment of your holistic base, right? So each product speaks to a different segment. Each value proposition speaks to a certain segment. And even in your business model, there's what we call channels. And channels may not be the same all throughout. all the different segments that you have. So, for example, we can make a classical example with a Mr. Price versus Louis Vuitton, for example. Mr. Price would, not even Mr. Price, Pep. Let's go Pep. Pep has about, what, 900 stores in the country, while Louis Vuitton only has two. And the difference is simple there. It's based on the customer segment. So because Pep talks to the lower segment of the market, this is sometimes you find that this market is not really a digitally savvy market. And over and above the digital skills issue, there's also an issue of the shopping online also comes with additional costs such as delivery and everything. But with a lower market, with a lower income market, every rand counts, right? So it's about affordability more than anything. Convenience is a nice to have. It's more about affordability. So with Pep having so many stores all over the country, is they have understood that their customer segment would rather come to the mall and buy with the money that they have without additional cost and having to wait for things and having to log into an online store and things like that, right? Where with Louis Vuitton, they have Joburg and then they would have Cape Town. So any customer that is willing to buy Louis Vuitton doesn't mind taking the drive. At the same time, they don't mind buying it online and wait and paying the extra cost of delivery if there's an extra cost for the item to arrive. So I'm saying all these things to not necessarily say that's the business model of Avon, but what I'm saying essentially is that my view of what Avon is doing is that they are looking at a different segment of the market that predominantly wants to have a walk-in store experience. Another thing I think it's sometimes we fail to understand with the nuances of the South African market. You know, when Drip sneaker brand and Batu sneaker brand went on this rampant drive of opening stores, you know, pretty much opening stores probably every month. There was a lot of negativity on social media where people were saying that, you know, this is dumb, you know, this is not a good decision in a world where people are moving online. Why would you invest so much money? And the problem with that notion is that we forget the reality of this country. South Africa is one of the most unequal countries in the world. The inequality in this country is ridiculous. Where 10% of the population hold way more than 50% of the total wealth in the country. So sometimes we forget the reality of our country, that there are people that actually live on monthly household incomes of about 500 to 800 rand. We forget that there are certain things that are normal to a middle class person that are luxury to a greater majority of the population. And so sometimes we get blinded by our own exposure, not necessarily understanding that the reality of the matter is there's so many people in the population of South Africa that are living below the poverty line, and certain things are luxuries. Number one, going shopping online is a luxury. Number two, it's also issues of digital skills. My wife and I have an online store, online retail store, and we predominantly speak to the lower to middle class market within townships in the country in terms of the sneakers that we sell. And I can tell you that we had to introduce, for example, sales through WhatsApp, because we realized that there was such a huge digital skill shortage in the lower end of the market. The middle class is fine, but we then realized about 67% of our sales are coming from WhatsApp and only a few is coming through the actual website. And you know, you go to WhatsApp and you look at these conversations and you realize that, you know, or you see an abandoned checkout and the team will call the person, "Hi Lebogang, I see you tried to buy on our website. Can I ask what was the problem? Why didn't you go ahead with your purchase?" And majority of the time would be, "I don't know how to do it." Like even the issue of a CVV number, they don't know what a CVV number is at the back of the card. So That's one element. Another element is that only a certain portion of our country is banked. A large majority of our population is unbanked. What that means is that a large population of South Africa doesn't have bank accounts. So how do you buy online without a bank account? Number one, so because of the understanding of the people that we're serving, the people that Avon is serving, the people that Drip is serving, the people that Batu they are serving, they understood and they understand. Going back to the point of Avon, is that one, there is a need for that retail front. There is a need for that personal coming to the mall and buy. There's still online shopping in South Africa still has a long way to go. I think it's only now that we've hit 5% of total retail spend in the country. So predominantly majority of the retail transactions in the country are still happening in brick and mortar physical stores, and this is the reality of the market. Am I saying it will be like this forever? No, it won't. But there is, I believe Avon understands there's a strategy to this. And you can see that in the expansion, because 100 stores means that they're going for a mass market. It's not an exclusive market. So when they're saying they want to open 100 stores over the next 2 years, you realize that they are going for a mass market, and they've understood also the key challenges of online shopping in our country. And there's still quite a large number of people that want to come to a store, pick up a product, touch, feel, experience it, and purchase it. And then we must also think about the instant gratification of it all. One of the things we must never miss is the experience of shopping, particularly in the context of South African shoppers, where there's still that thing where a guy buys something and they want it now. Instant gratification is still a thing. Number two, going to a mall is also, when we think the context of a township, it's still an outing, so to say. People get dressed up and they look forward to go to the mall, and they come back, when they get off their taxis or Ubers or whatever, with those bags written whatever brand on the side of those bags. That still adds to the whole overall appeal of going into a shop and buying and being immersed in the shopping experience and things like that. So my view is that I don't see this as a bad decision or a bad move by Avon. If anything, I think it's long overdue. And I really think both models can coexist. It's what we call an omni-channel retail strategy, where we have different touch points where our customers can have access to our product. With the distribution model and having retail stores, it would require quite a lot of management from their side, especially to make sure that number one, distributors don't lose morale. Number two, distributors are still charging retail prices, so that there's no difference in the customer experience. Because if I am talking to Zbongile and I'm trying to buy something for Zbongile and she says 200 Rand, and I go to the shop and the shop says 100 Rand, then now that customer experience is going to be baffled up. So there's quite a lot of moving parts that need to be configured on Avon's end, but in no way do I see a problem with the coexistence of the two models. Will it be challenging? Yes, it will. Thinking about it as I'm talking, it will be quite a challenging one, but it shouldn't be one either or. They can coexist, and also each channel speaks to different demographics or speaks to different segments of their customers, right? So from a business model perspective, I honestly feel that they are doing well. It's a good decision. But as I started with this whole thing, as I said, I'm only making remarks based on what I know. I may be totally off the wagon, or I may be totally right. So or I may be in the middle, I don't know. So I'm just making remarks on the basis of what I know, and also the conversations that have been happening on social media. I'm interested to know what your view is. So leave a comment in the comment section there. Leave your opinion there. Let's have a conversation around this. I think it's it's an interesting model that they are going for, and it's one case study that we need to look at and study ourselves as entrepreneurs to see how we can also further grow our businesses. But over and above this, it's very important to have a clear understanding of the realities of the markets that you are serving, because sometimes we are blinded by our own realities, right? Just because you can spend 1,000 rand on a dinner, that's not necessarily the case for everyone. Some people, the amount you're spending on that dinner, some people, that's the entire month income. And a large part of our economy is like that. So, yeah, anyway, thank you so much, guys. Thank you for tuning in.